Welcome to Technical Drawing. Today I'm going to do the quick revision for the Viva question for engineering graphics. So this is an engineering graphics book which is available online. So this is from NCRT. So this is from the board. So this is the first copy you should have. Now what we will do, we will go through few questions and tomorrow we will go through furthermore. So in this first topic is isometric. Let me see this. Okay. So this is isometric projection. So in Viva, generally when the isometric comes, so then first they will ask you for orthographic. So they will ask you what is orthographic and isometric. So orthographic is converting three-dimensional diagram into two-dimensional diagram in the 3D into 2D. In short, you can say that. And isometric is converting 2D into 3D. Now in isometric, there are different types: isometric view and isometric projection. In isometric view, we take natural scale. And in isometric projection, we use isometric scale. So this much we should know as a difference between orthographic and isometric. And in isometric, there are two types. Now you can read this for information. This will be helpful to you in MCQ, that what is a perspective view, what is oblique view, what is axonometry, right? So that you can see. And I will take it only the Viva question over here. So in this, they may ask you to show isometric scale. So you should know how to draw the scale, 30-degree, 45-degree, and what we write, true length and isometric length, that you should know. After that, here there is not much. I don't think so they will ask you much in this topic. From Viva point of view, they may ask you the difference between different solids, like what is prism, what is pyramid, cone, cone, and cylinder. So all these things you should know, that what is prism. And so over here it's given prism. Prism top and bottom surface is same, and it is joined by that many number of rectangular faces. So if we are talking about hexagonal prism, so on top you'll have hexagon, in bottom you'll have hexagon, and it is joined by 6 rectangular face. This is square prism. People call it cube also. Both are correct. Square prism, top and bottom you have square, and it is joined by 4 rectangular surfaces. Then this is also square prism, C. Then we have triangular prism. So top and bottom is triangle joined by 3 rectangular faces. So that way we can see a lot of prisms are there. Then this is pyramid. So in pyramid, what is the difference between prism and pyramid? So in prism we have two surfaces, like suppose pentagonal prism, then we have two pentagon, one base and one top surface, and it is joined by 5 rectangular surface. In this we have only one base and one apex, and it is joined by 5 triangular surfaces, right? So you should know this. And then we'll have cone and a cylinder. Frustum we don't have in our portion, so avoid. But even if you want to remember what is frustum, that you keep in the any pyramid and you cut parallel to the base, then what you get is frustum. That you can keep in mind. Then we have cylinder. See this, it's a circular shape. And cone, it's the same thing. It has apex, right? It's a curved surface. Then yeah, and then this is sphere. In Viva, they may ask you that what is this radius? So in sphere, we take original radius. We don't take iso radius to draw circle. We take original radius. So that you should keep in mind. So this is from this topic. I don't think so they'll ask anything more in that. Now, if you have done any diagram, then they may ask you to explain how you got this. Where is the observer? So generally this arrow is the observer, right? This is helping figure. So they may ask you the general thing. They'll ask you why they write 30-30 degree, because in isometric we draw 30-30 degree. Yeah, that's it from this topic, isometric. Then we'll see next topic. See, I'm doing it in a rush. maybe later on I'll come up with a detailed video where I will explain everything in detail. But today they have exam on Monday, so I want to do it quickly. Now we have my machine drawing. So this you need to read. What is screw, right? And what are this terminology in the sense depth, lead, flank. So you people need to read this once. So if you download this book, everything is explained. You just go through it once. You don't have to by heart anything as such, but you should know what is pitch, what is lead, what is single start, what is multi-start thread, right? So all these things you should know, what is crest, root, so that once you will see this diagram, you'll understand everything. Okay. So this you just need to read. And then after that, they'll ask you what are the standard profile of screw threads. So there are two types. One is V thread, that is triangular V thread, and another one is square thread. So how many types of threads we have in our portion? We have BSW and metric thread. We have two types. And in square thread, we have square thread and knuckle thread. So now if you see this BSW thread, so what is the angle in that? 55 degree. Got it? So that they will ask you that, and it is smooth on both the sides. And then we have a metric thread. So if you see metric thread, one side is sharp and one side is curved, and the angle is how much? 60 degree. So this you should know. Then just check all this calculation. They are not accurate. So don't trust all this calculation. Then this is internal external. See, the one which we saw just now is external thread, metric thread. And this is internal metric thread, which is upside down. So that you should know. Then we have square thread. See this, right? And then we have knuckle thread. So what I will say that you Google it and find out where are the square thread and knuckle threads are used. So that will be helpful to you, right? So this 4 thread profiles you should know. After that, bolt, right? So we have square bolt and hexagonal bolt, right? So that you should know. So how many types of bolts are there? Hexagonal headed bolt and square headed bolt. So this 2 bolts you should know. Naming wise, application wise also you can Google it and you can make a note of it. That will be helpful. Then you don't have this T bolt you don't have in your portion, and J bolt also you don't have in your portion. You have only 2 bolts. After that, you'll have nut. So we have hexagonal nut and square nut. See this. So that also you go through it and search for application. I'll advise you people to Google it, application where specifically they use square nut or hexagonal nut. That would be helpful to you. In my detailed video, I will explain everything, but right now I'm just guiding few people, so I'm rushing through it. Then, yeah, so bolt and nut. So you should know the difference between bolt and nut. And generally, it will come under temporary fastener and permanent fastener. So this is temporary fastener where you can remove nut and bolt, right? And this is washer, which you keep below the bolt for the even pressure. See this. So this is the diagram. Then this is the combination. That's fine. Now this is rivet. So this is permanent fastener. Right? See over here it's written rivets are one of the permanent fastener and used widely in steel structure. Even if you read this book, you'll get a lot of detail. But I'll advise you to go through Google search also, right? So rivet and nut and bolt are opposite. Nut and bolt are temporary fastener and rivets are permanent fastener. Rivets, welding. So what do you mean by permanent? In the sense you can't separate them, right? You have to break them. If you have joined anything with rivet, you have to break them. And if you have joined anything with screw, that means nut and bolt, so that you can easily remove. So that would be more temporary. This is more permanent kind of a thing. So rivet, we will use it that way. You don't have all this lap joint, you don't have. So just basic this thing. And this is a convention of external thread and internal thread. I have a video on what is external thread and internal thread, so that you can see, or you can read here. That will help you. After that, studs. So stud is like headless bolt. In the sense they have a threading on both the sides. If you see, they have a threading on both the sides, right? So I'll advise you to go through Google and just search stud. Okay, so you will get this. Then they have screw. So I would generally say that, you have bolt, right? So if you reduce the bolt size, then it becomes screw. I'm sure you have seen screw. So here we have 4 types of screw. So you should know the name of the screw: the round cup head, sorry, cheese head, countersunk head, and grub screw, right? And if possible, search their application. And in stud, we have 3 types of stud: plain stud, stud with square neck, and stud with collar. So these 3 has different application. So just go through it once. Uh, I'm not sure whether your teacher will ask you in detail, but this naming you should know that, okay, there are 4 screws we have in our portion, what we have to study, right? This is just a front view, top view. And after that, screws are done. Rivet heads. Yeah, there are 4 rivet heads also we need to remember. So one is snap head, another one is pen head, then 60 degrees CSK head, and flat head. So this is permanent fastener, and screws are temporary, right? Screws, nut and bolt, that way. So that way you can differentiate. Then keys we don't have in our portion, but you can go through it if you want. So this much is first and second chapter. Then we have assembly, bearings. So in bearings we have bush bearing and open bearing, right? So in Viva, generally they don't ask anything in particular, but they may ask you the application where you have seen this bearing and all. So that you can see the bearing is where we use bearing wherever we have a rotating shaft. And if we feel that shaft, we need to support that shaft. So that time we use bearings. And bush bearing we use where loading unloading is not there, in the sense we don't have to replace that quite often. And open bearing we use where we have to replace that part again and again. It becomes easier for loading unloading. It's actually whenever you put a bearing and if you remove it, it's called loading unloading. So it becomes easier when you use open bearing. In bush bearing, it is like you need to remove everything, all. So it's more tiresome. So generally bush bearing, they're used in a single application, like they will use it only one at a time kind of a thing. So over there they will use bush bearing, but they have to use multiple bearings, then they will use open bearing. So that is a difference which you can remember. And just read this, you will have some idea, and you can Google few videos about open bearing, bush bearing application, and just see what you get. uh, then there is a bush, and they may ask you this: what kind of a material this bush is. The bush is for gunmetal generally they use for the bush. Body is generally cast iron or steel, and there is a oil hole. So they will say why they are providing oil hole. So just remember that over here shaft is rotating at very high speed. So to cool that shaft, otherwise it will damage the bush as well as the bearing. So they put oil from the top, coolant, right? So that's why we have oil hole in bearings. Bush bearing. In open bearing, we don't have. See that this is bush bearing. They may ask you what is this. So this is first angle projection symbol. So we don't write that it is in first angle. We just draw this so you understand that this is front view, top view, and side view. So that's why we use that. And after this we have open bearing. See, you can see open bearing, it's very easy. The rod will be here, so it is open from the top, so you can easily load unload. So 2 types of bearing. Then we don't have this plumber block and footstep bearing. This book is actually very old. It is from 2004 publication. So they haven't revised it in terms of the new portion, and the new portion they have reduced a lot. So you just check the portion and study from this book. Then we'll see rod joints. Now, how many types of rod joints are there? This is cotter. So this is cotter, right? So first we have sleeve and cotter joint. See this sleeve and cotter joint, in the sense there are two shafts which you want to join, so that you will join with the help of two cotters and one sleeve. That is sleeve and cotter joint. This is generally used in connecting two rods. See this over here in diagram, they have shown one tractor and one trailer. I'm not too sure what it is called, the behind one, but it is joined by cotter. So they use this sleeve and cotter, or whichever they feel comfortable according to the application. So sleeve and cotter is there. So naming is very important. You should know that, okay, there is something called sleeve and cotter. Then there is something called socket and spigot. Then but you check your portion. You have only 6 assembly. 2 are done. One is sleeve and cotter, and I think another one is jib and cotter. See, knuckle joint you don't have. Okay. So the jib and cotter and sleeve and cotter, then you are done with that portion. So you just need to remember the name and application if you are comfortable. See, this is jib and cotter. This is how it looks. So this is jib, cotter, and there are two pieces, and generally it is a square rod. So that's why. So what is the difference in jib and cotter and other assembly? This is for square rods, right? Then after this, tie rod and pipe joint. So now you have this. This is used in, see this over here, if you can see, it is used in boxing ring. It is used as a pigeon net also, they use this. This is called turnbuckle. And you will see this at many places right now. Metro work is going on. So you can easily see this. Why this is used? To keep tension on both the sides, to keep it tight. So this is a assembly of turnbuckle. And after turnbuckle, we have something else. Wait, pipe joint, where they are joining two pipes. See this. This you might have seen on the road, especially near Santa Cruz East, towards Ghatkopar side. You will see such kind of pipes are joined by nut and bolt, right? This also you have in your building, the firefighting. You will have in your school also this kind of red thingy you will see, that is flange pipe, right? This is flange pipe joint. So they will ask you such questions that, have you seen this assembly, where you have seen, for what purpose it is used. It is just, see this liquid will be from here, they will transfer from one side to another side, and they can't have such a big pipe. So they will join pipe, right? They can't have one continuous pipe. So when they join pipe, they are afraid that there will be some leak. So to avoid that, they will use this joint. Got it? So pipe or material will be passing through this, and this will be their outer part. So in this, it is inbuilt. This is the pipe, and this is a thin plate which is attached to it. It's called flange. So that's why it's called flange pipe joint. So this part is, middle part is pipe, and the other part is flange. Then, so this is the final output. I'm sure you will see this. And in this also we have gasket. It's called Indian rubber or gunmetal, whatever you can call. It is made up of that. So yeah, that's it. This is what they'll ask, and I have shared a few questions with you people, so you can go through it. If you have any query, you can ask me. I'll reply. I'm sorry it was very short. I was not expecting that you'll have Viva so soon. But it's okay. I will make it a detailed one before your final exam, and I'll upload it. Meantime, you can work with this. You download this book. It's it's a very good book, and you can Go through all the questions. Just read like novel. You don't have to memorize anything. Just read twice, thrice. Just go through everything, and if possible, whichever word you if you're not understanding, Google it, and you will come to know the meaning and application. So I hope you people have understood this. Thank you.